Chapter 4: The Physical Social Network. Adam often told people the early 2000s was the I-decade: iPhone, iPod, iPad, all centered around the individual. But he believed the next decade would be the we decade, focused on community and a new way of working. He spoke about a revolution in how people worked together, though some were skeptical. Sure, WeWork's offices were nicer than traditional ones, but calling it a revolution seemed like a stretch. Adam insisted that WeWork wasn't just about offices, it was the world's first physical social network and should be viewed more like a tech company than a real estate business. "We happen to need buildings, just like Airbnb needs apartments," he explained. He described WeWork as Uber for offices and even claimed it could be the next Google. He pitched it like this: "Hey guys, this is WeWork, the world's first physical social network. Our mission is to empower the world through collaboration. We believe the future lies in small businesses, not corporate America. We're building a community that's transparent and accountable. That is WeWork." Positioning WeWork as a tech company made the story much more attractive to investors. After all, venture capital firms rarely invest in real estate, it's harder to scale. A software company might spend heavily upfront developing a product, but once built, it can be sold repeatedly with almost no added cost. This leads to exponential profits. Real estate, on the other hand, comes with constant expansion costs, new buildings, new tenants, maintenance, and dealing with landlords, all of which limit profit margins. Real estate companies are usually valued at 2 to 5 times their annual revenue. But fast-growing tech companies can fetch valuations more than 20 times their revenue, offering investors the explosive growth they crave. Adam knew this, which is why he was determined to make sure no one thought of WeWork as a real estate company. Whenever reporters described WeWork as a real estate company, the PR team was tasked with getting those stories corrected. In interviews, Adam pushed back hard: "Definitely not a real estate company. We are a community of creators. We create environments for entrepreneurs and freelancers. We leverage technology to connect people. Just like Uber is the sharing economy for cars, we are the sharing economy for space." Of course, the comparison wasn't entirely fair. Unlike Uber or Airbnb platforms that operate globally without owning physical assets, WeWork was deeply tied to expensive, long-term leases. Every new location required massive upfront investments and ongoing maintenance. If something broke, WeWork paid for it, not the landlord. Adam himself wasn't a typical tech entrepreneur. He rarely used a computer, couldn't code, and struggled with his MacBook. And building community, his favorite buzzword, didn't scale easily. Creating a real, connected community took time and a personal touch. But Adam didn't care. He was a master storyteller and convinced people WeWork was a groundbreaking innovation. He kept investors focused on one thing: revenue growth. And it was growing rapidly. Profitability? That could come later. Adam pointed out that many of the biggest tech companies were unprofitable at first because they prioritized growth and market share. Once they dominated, profits would follow. This logic made sense for tech companies with low marginal costs per new user, but WeWork wasn't one of those companies. Still, the momentum was undeniable, and Adam played the investor game well. He created competition and leveraged FOMO, fear of missing out, to push investors to get in while they could. Unlike public companies, private startups aren't required to share detailed financials, allowing founders to sell an exciting story. Adam took full advantage, always telling his team to double projections before showing them to investors even if the numbers were unrealistic. And, to be fair, WeWork's revenue was doubling every year. The problem was, so were the costs. The business lacked the network effects of real tech companies. There were no economies of scale, no true competitive advantage. It became increasingly unclear if the model worked at all or if it was simply being propped up by endless investor money. Still, venture capitalists often bet on the founder more than the company. And many came away from meetings with Adam impressed. "Let's give him some money. He'll figure it out," they said. One of those firms was Benchmark, known for backing Instagram, Uber, and eBay. They invested $16.5 million at a $100 million valuation, a huge stamp of approval that attracted even more investors. It created a domino effect, each big name drawing others, pushing the company's valuation even higher. With the money flowing, Adam moved fast. He outbid competitors for new office leases, sometimes drastically overpaying. But he wasn't worried about profits. "I'm not looking to make money right now. I'm just looking to add people," he said. Growth was the only thing that mattered. Before long, Goldman Sachs came in, offering to invest at a $220 million valuation, double in just a year. But Adam turned them down, calling it too low. Most employees thought he was crazy. They were burning cash fast. But the gamble paid off. Soon after, WeWork raised $40 million at a $440 million valuation, double what Goldman had offered. Private valuations are often arbitrary, they're simply what investors believe a company is worth. But Adam loved seeing the number rise. It created the illusion of unstoppable momentum. Still, raising more money usually means giving up control. Adam solved this by changing the company's voting structure. His shares now counted 10 times more than anyone else's. That way, he could sell shares but maintain total control. Some early investors warned him about the dangers of too much power. Adam shrugged. "I am WeWork," he said. To reinforce the tech narrative, WeWork launched WeConnect, an internal version of LinkedIn to help members connect. In theory, you could hire a graphic designer or find collaborators through the app. In reality, it was buggy and slow. Hardly anyone used it. But this became a pattern. Instead of using proven software, WeWork built clunky internal systems just to look more like a tech company. They even considered launching their own cryptocurrency. For actual tech companies, millions of dollars can last years. But WeWork's costs were massive: leases, renovations, new employees. By 2013, they had over 200 staff members. Adam soon had to raise more money as they were burning through cash rapidly. Luckily, the investor money kept coming. Adam secured another $150 million from JP Morgan and other big names at a $1.5 billion valuation, officially making WeWork a unicorn. Despite all the funding, the company was a mess behind the scenes. They forgot to renew employee healthcare, leaving staff without insurance for a month. Meanwhile, Adam frequently sold his shares during these rounds, something most founders avoid until their company goes public. But for Adam, the rules were different. WeWork was just 4 years old, and Adam was already boasting that it was experiencing the fastest physical growth in the history of the world. Outsiders were baffled. Why was this company valued so highly? After all, a company called IWG had been running a nearly identical business model for years: more members, more locations, and actual profits. Yet WeWork's valuation soared above theirs. What set WeWork apart wasn't the business model, it was Adam's story. The energy, the charisma, the vision of building a movement. Investors got caught up in it. That's why Adam always gave potential investors an in-person tour. The numbers alone wouldn't sell the dream, but the show? That did. Investors who missed out on Facebook and other big tech winners didn't want to miss this one. They didn't dig deep enough. And even those with doubts figured they could always sell once the company went public. This was the classic greater fool theory, buying an overvalued asset, assuming someone else would pay even more for it later.